Truth, memory, and resilience. This is not a distant history. This is not a forgotten past. This is a truth that must be spoken because silence has never served justice. This is the story of the Wiyot people, a story of devastation, survival, and strength. It is the story that must be told, not for debate, but for remembrance. For thousands of years, the Wiyot people lived on the land now known as Northern California, not as wanderers, not as invaders, but as caretakers. From Little River to Bear River Ridge, they tended the land, the rivers, the ocean. They were fishermen, basket weavers, and healers, and shamans. They had their own government, their own traditions, and their own sacred places. Before outsiders arrived, there were 1,500 to 2,000 Wiyot people. Then came colonization. With it came disease, resource depletion, slavery, displacement, and violence. Yet the Wiyot endured. They practiced peace even when met with cruelty. They believed in balance even when balance was shattered. In 1860, their trust was met with brutality. On February 26th of 1860, the Wiyot people gathered at Tuluwa Island as they had for generations for the World Renewal Ceremony, a time to restore harmony between people, nature, and the spirit world. When the men were away gathering supplies, as they did at night, white settlers attacked. They came in the night. They carried no guns. Guns made noise. Instead, they used axes, knives, and clubs. They slaughtered those left behind, the women, the elders, and the children. Some say 80 died, others say 250. The real answer? Who knows? We may never know. Their bodies were thrown into the water, left in the mud, and piled up. Not one person was armed. Not one person was a threat. And yet no one person was held responsible or accountable for the things that happened in the massacre that occurred. The killing did not stop that night. What followed was a campaign to erase the Wiyot people entirely. The Wiyot faced not just massacre, but ongoing destruction. Survivors were hunted, displaced, enslaved, and forced onto reservations. Their land was stolen, their villages burned, their voices silenced. By the late 1860s, the population had fallen to just 200 people, roughly. By 1910, around only 100 remained, from thousands to nearly nothing in a bright 50 years. The intention was clear: to erase the Wiyot from history. But we shall tell another story. The Wiyot survived. They rebuilt. They fought for their land, for their traditions, for their future. In 2004, Tuluwa Island was returned to the Wiyot people, not by government action, but because the Wiyot reclaimed it. In 2014, the Wiyot held their first World Renewal Ceremony in over 150 years. That's amazing. You want a peanut? Feeding my squirrel. Their language, nearly lost, is being revived. Their traditions continue. Today there are over 600 Wiyot people. They are here, they are thriving, they are undeniable. This history is not up for debate. These facts are not a matter of opinion. The Wiyot people were nearly wiped from existence, not by accident, but by intention. The systems that allowed this massacre to happen did not disappear. They have evolved. This is why we must remember. This is why we must speak. Because this was not just an attack on the Wiyot. This was an attack on humanity. And if we claim to be better, if we claim to have learned, then we must do more than acknowledge the past. We must fight for justice for the present, support indigenous land rights, protect Native sovereignty, amplify Native voices. Because history does not change on its own. People change it. And we are responsible for the history that we create next. You want it? It's okay. Yes. You want it? You want it? Yeah. Love our land. Love our people. Thank you.